from the depths of Chicago, live and direct, it's the Rico No Suave Show, starring Rico No Suave, with co-host Valerie Malesio, featuring special guests every Saturday. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here is Rico No Suave. Ritmo.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's your boy Rico No Suave here on a 1-2-1-2, ready to go with each and every one of you guys. Tu sabe, otra vez, mi gente. We are back, and you are back with us too. Thank you for also tuning in every single week, everybody. Man, we're having such a great time as far as on the show and our past shows, everybody. And I am so happy that almost we're at the end of October. It is October 16th. 16 de octubre, coño, right? I'm like, listen, man, this is going crazy. I mean, the year is almost over, you know? And I have to say, yeah, you know what? That's okay. Let's get it over with, right? Because we got 2022 coming up, and let's get over the wintertime, right? And then we can get back to some nice hot weather, right? So make sure that you guys, you know, make sure that you guys are actually, you know, staying with us all the way through. And who else stays with us, everybody? My girl, Valerie Malesio. What's up, Valerie? What's going on, girl?
Feliz sábado, mi gente.
Feliz sábado, it is.
It is another beautiful, beautiful day. Autumn day.
Yes.
Fall day.
Yes.
And yeah, it is the 16th already, so it's moving a bit quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But I like this time of year.
That's good.
You always trying to rush us through this.
You can have it.
He's like trying to get past it, trying to jump into 2022 like, you know?
Valerie loves fall.
I like the fall.
You like the fall?
I like the fall.
Okay.
I like the change of the leaves and the seasons.
That's good.
And
the holidays.
Yeah, the holidays. We have,
I love the holidays too.
Halloween.
Yes, don't get me wrong. I love the holidays too. I didn't say anything about the holidays.
The pumpkin.
It's just the weather, right? The weather.
The pumpkin spice. I see your memes out there.
Right, the pumpkin spice.
I see everybody talking about the pumpkin spice. But it's a good time of year, you know?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, you already know, everybody. We are back. The Rico No Suave TV and radio talk show. Let's get to that social media, everybody. Our social media. Our first is our website, everybody. Our website is what we have. So here we go. www.riconosuaveshow.com is where you'll find all of our information, everyone. And, you know, our photos and our art gallery and also Chicago's top DJs that's actually giving you guys some great mixes on there. And also, you know, you can watch our previous episodes as well, too, on the Rico No Suave Show. All right, here's the next one. Boom! Yes, at Rico No Suave Show. Tu sabe? Yes, it's Instagram, everybody. Did I scare you? Did I get you with the boom? Right? At Rico No Suave Show is where that's our official account for Instagram. So make sure you follow us there all day, every day.
If you're on the other account, or if you're confused about the account, this is the official account.
That is the
even though it's not
account.
Doesn't say the official Rico No Suave Show.
Yes,
We're trying to keep it simple, nice and sweet, shortened for you. Find us on Instagram.
She says short and sweet. That's what she likes. All right. So here's the next one, everybody. Here's the next one. Yes, boom. Facebook. We still love you. We still got people liking our page there. Rico No Suave Show, everyone. Make sure you please continue to like us because after we finish this, I got a nice announcement for you guys. Last but not least, what do we have? We have Mixcloud.com/Rico No Suave Show. That's where we're at, and that's where you're at right now. So make sure you please share this link. Tell everybody to follow us on the Rico No Suave Show talk show on Mixcloud.
Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell everybody. Mixcloud.com. Register. It's free.
Yeah,
so hang out with us every Saturday.
And I think for us, the Mixcloud has been great. It's been good, and Facebook has been on the other side. So and Mixcloud is definitely good for us. All right, so we have a flyer that I do want to put up, everybody, and it's about changes that we're making. So this right here, everyone, we're updating our starting showtime now. So we're going to be going starting in November. The first Saturday in November, we're going to actually be going from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. And I do want to say the reason why we're doing this is because, you know, we're a talk show, and also because we want to make sure that everybody hears our voice, but also we want to make sure that people can reach us in all angles. So we're actually coming back to Facebook as well as Mixcloud and also YouTube Live, and we might see if we can even get Instagram Live in there as well too.
We'll try it.
You know, we're definitely going to broaden our reach, right? And I think that's the biggest things. And the reason why, of course, why you guys already know why we left Facebook was because of the music, right? But the one thing that we have to do as a program to make sure that you guys have better content, and also it's for our awesome reach. So once again, everybody, starting that Saturday, we're going to actually start going from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. That means that our segments of LOL and our job search and all of that great stuff, we're still going to be able to give you those segments throughout the week, right? So me and Valerie will still be able to give you those videos that you'll still be able to see during the week, that you can still laugh with us and all of that great stuff. Yeah. But we're advancing, so
yeah, no worries. Same vibe, same party.
That's right.
Same Saturday, you know, shout outs of, you know, hello and inspiring stories of people's journeys. Just a little bit different, a little bit shorter, but we're still gonna be here every Saturday.
That's right. I'm watching the comments right now. And Patty Chula says, don't be rushing it. Let us enjoy the fall. Mikey Mike from NYC, New York City. Viva la raza, tu sabes, papa. He said, good luck to Sir Kirk for county chef. Thank you so much. Yes, you already told us as far as who is, you know, who's on the show already. So thank you, Mikey Mike. I appreciate that. And you guys should already know when we actually are ready to introduce this gentleman. But yes, once again, everybody, thank you so much. And we're going to actually, we're going to actually go from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. starting Central Time, because it's all over. So Central Time, starting the first Saturday, which is November 6th of November. All right, everybody. So we're going to run this breaking news, everybody. So we have this breaking news now. So we want everybody that's actually on the radio, and also for everyone else. All right, here's the breaking news. Happening, what is going on now? So, you know, it's all in the world. All right, here we go. So we have a photo of Chicago Sky. So Chicago Sky is they're in the WNBA finals.
Wow.
Right? And one of the things is
let's just give a little bit of applause.
Man,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
There we go. There we
go.
So, you know, Candace Parker, I saw a video of her in Humboldt Park, right? And she actually had a nice video of, you know, her actually, I'm like, oh, I teach there at the field house. So they actually did something at Humboldt Park. But Candace Parker, they actually reached the WNBA finals. Right, and we also have another photo that I want to actually put up there of. Sorry, that's okay. It's all right. So we do have another photo of them, and you know they're all, you know, together as a family. And one of the things is that they, you know, they have worked so hard to put Chicago on the map, right? And they worked so hard to be able to do what they do very well.
Yes.
And that's play that ball, right?
That's right.
So they are hooping, right? And they were actually just here at the Wintrust, right? Actually yesterday, and they actually beat the Mercury, Team Mercury, yesterday. So, you know, they're actually leading 2-1 right now. They were tied up 1-1, but they're actually tied up 2-1. I think it's a 5-game series or 7-game. I can't remember how many it is, but if you guys know, I think it might be a 5-game series because
exactly
the WNBA versus the NBA. Yeah. So either way it goes, they're in the lead right now. But I want to say congratulations to Candace Parker and the Chicago Sky.
Chicago Sky, girl power.
All right. Let's bring that back to me. So you know, one of the things is about you know, Chicago is that we have so much to offer. We have so much talent here in Chicago.
Fabulous people,
great
fabulous
downtown
places.
Yeah.
It's just a phenomenal spot.
It's a phenomenal spot. All right, everybody. It's your boy Rico No Suave here on the 1-2-1-2. Man, you know what? I have to introduce this gentleman. This gentleman is, how can I say it? This guy is awesome. This guy is a pioneer, and he will be a pioneer, everyone, to the city of Chicago. He is a gem of Chicago. This gentleman here is running as a candidate for the Cook County Sheriff. I want you guys to get out of your house before he comes and knock down your doors. I want you guys to put your hands together for none other than my buddy, mi pana. His name is Kirk Ortiz, everybody. Yeah. Kirk Ortiz, how are you, Papa?
I'm good.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Man, you know what?
Awesome.
It's
Thank you for taking the time to
yes,
come out, hang
man.
out with
Yeah.
us.
I think that this is the first time of actually having, someone of law enforcement on the show. Right. And
Especially a candidate.
And a candidate at that.
So
right.
this is a milestone for us too.
Yes.
Como se dice? Huepa.
Huepa. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's get it on. So a lot of people don't really understand what is a sheriff, right? What are the responsibilities of a sheriff? So if you can explain to the audience, what are the responsibilities of a sheriff?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and break it down. So everybody sees a sheriff car. Everybody hears the word sheriff. But what everybody's zoned into is the jail. They hear sheriff, they say, hey, that's the jail. They got nothing to do with the streets. They have nothing to do with what's going on in the world. False.
Wow.
The sheriff is one of the largest department for the county. Right? Cook County Sheriff is the second largest department in the U.S.
Wow.
Cook County in itself is the third largest population in the U.S. So we're a huge county, right? And so you got this great big department with all this manpower, and everybody just think about the jail. So let me break it down real quick. The sheriff's responsibility is more than the jail. The sheriff's responsibility is actually for the people of Cook County.
Right.
For the people of Cook County. It's the sheriff's supposed to support every department that resides within Cook County, so the suburban department, the townships, the unincorporated area, and including the city of Chicago.
Wow.
So
that's a lot.
when the city of Chicago is saying, hey, we need backup and we need some help, it's the sheriff's responsibility to say, hey, I got your back. We're going to send our guys out there and support you during the riots, during the pandemic, support you. Did you guys see any sheriff's cars out there?
No.
When the city was dealing with
The looting and all of that?
looting and
Yeah.
the
No.
traumatic experience they're going through, how many county vehicles, how many Cook County sheriff vehicles seen out there?
Not one.
No.
And that's the sheriff's responsibility. Furthermore, to break it down, the sheriff's responsibility is to enforce, protect, and defend the Constitution. So the sheriff in itself is a people's person. It's not a lawman, it's a people's person. The sheriff's responsibility is to listen to its people in the county, voice what's going on in the county, defend and protect its people in the county. And most importantly, protect and defend the Constitution for the people within Cook County. And that's the sheriff's responsibility. A lot of people don't know that, but they're knowing that now. You guys are listening to this and you guys are understanding the actual role of a sheriff is not just the jail. That's a small portion of the sheriff's responsibility. There's the courts. That's another portion of the sheriff's responsibility. Then you got the police task force. That's another portion. But most importantly, the sheriff's responsibility is to listen and represent the people of Cook County. And that's what I'm here for today.
Yes, sir.
To represent the people of Cook County. Yes, sir.
I'm glad that
such a-
you. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good.
I'm glad you asked that question, Rico, because there really is there is some confusion as exactly what sheriffs do. We do see a car drive by every once in a while, but we don't always see them, on the street. So we're like, okay, exactly what do they do? And then the movies. We watch movies, and
Yeah.
the sheriff's, like you said, it's always the jailer. It's the guy at the jailer. Take him to the sheriff.
Yeah.
Like all the shows that they have on TV.
Uh-huh.
So you don't know, behind the scenes exactly, what do sheriffs do? So thank you for explaining that, because I really had no idea.
Well, I think as a person on the outside looking in and driving on the expressway, you see only the sheriffs there, right? And when you see just the sheriffs there, you're like, listen, when you see a sheriff there, you need to slow down real quick, because that is his territory, or that's where he's actually supposed to be, you know, as far as with making sure that people slow down, that everybody's driving safe. But
Right.
that's really the only time when I actually see a sheriff, unless a sheriff is going to someone's house that's getting evicted.
Or a
right?
subpoena.
Or a subpoena.
You
right?
see the sheriff, run!
Right. You see the sheriff, and it's almost as if when you hear the sheriff itself, you know, you thinking as a sheriff cowboys, right?
Right.
You
Or
think of the
Mayberry,
of the-
you know, like the old
right,
school.
old school way. But it's funny because at the same time too, when you're talking about this, you're supposed to be there for the people, which that's basically how those cowboys and sheriffs used to actually be. Hey, I am here representing the people
Right.
of my area, right?
Correct.
Of where
Correct.
I live. I didn't know it was that deep.
I didn't
In
either.
regards to how, you know, how they expand that role and responsibilities.
Yeah, wearing the multiple hats, you know, having
Yeah.
to be, you know, in this area and having jurisdiction over that, and you know, that's a lot of responsibility.
If you can, in regards to where, like, the different departments of sheriffs, you talked about the court, right? And then there's the state police patrol on the expressway.
That's Illinois State Police.
That's the Illinois State Police.
Right.
Now, is that different from the sheriff?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's a different entity.
That's a different
agency.
entity. Oh, I see. Okay.
yeah, that part
okay.
I kind of
With-
get because that's
yeah,
state
yeah.
troopers.
It's a state trooper, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Within the Cook County Sheriff's Department, you got 3 sections, and it's going to be your jail, which is a corrective setting.
Yep.
It's not a prison. That's another confusion that people think a jail is a prison. A jail is for pretrial detainees. You don't know if they're guilty or not. It's a corrective setting to help them come back into society,
Yes.
be accepted back in society, whatever their past is, whatever alleged crime they committed. That facility was created and built, and this is another topic that we could go into all day long, which is the jail, because even that steered off on what it was originally intended for. It was only intended to hold people in a position and then apply programs to help them correct whatever action that
correct.
needs to be corrected.
Yes, sir.
And then put them back into society and say, hey, now you could go back into the world. Don't commit that crime.
Right.
Go get a job.
Right.
And I love
Go
how
do
you
what
phrase
society
that.
wants.
Yeah.
You phrase that so well.
Thank you.
Alleged.
Allegedly.
Because
Because
it's,
there's a lot of innocent people in jail, unfortunately, and then there's people that committed the act in jail. And it's not, you know, us to decide that. That's what they go to court for. That's what they go see a judge for. And then the judge decides whether the person was guilty or not. That's
can I
not
just
our
applaud
practice.
that, because I love that, the way that you phrase that, because I think a lot of times people lose sight of how that process works.
Yes.
And you know, we could take a whole show just on that topic right there.
That's
Yeah.
what I
But
said.
But I
We
love
could
the
go
way
all
that
day.
you phrase that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So where the sheriff comes into play, when does a sheriff also arrest people as well?
Yes. So again, you got 3 factors. You got the jail,
Uh-huh.
then you got the courts, and then you have the street unit, which is basic policing 101. So they'll do traffic stops, they'll do felony stops. You know, they'll respond to 911 dispatch calls, and they're supposed to do that throughout the whole Cook County.
Sure.
You know, there's a respect factor to other departments, right? We don't want to go into another department and say, hey, just because you're in our county, we're going to take over. No, you
Right.
guys do what you got to do, but if you need backup, if you need support, we're going to be there to back you up.
Right.
So if
Right.
your numbers, if your task force numbers are low, you know, let's say you're in a department and they have only 30 sworn peace officers, but they need 50, so they're short 20 officers, well, then the sheriff's supposed to say, hey, don't worry about it. We'll loan 20 officers towards that department
Sure.
and help you patrol that neighborhood to keep the streets safe, to keep the community safe, to keep the people safe.
Yep.
You know, and so yes, to answer your question, they do make arrests. The sheriff's department does make arrests.
See, and I think that comes clear, because now when I was confused at first, even with the Illinois State Trooper, right? Because I thought that was a sheriff as well, right? Like, and those are totally 2 different entities, right? Totally 2 different things. You know, one thing that you're talking about is that jail system in regards to, it's almost like therapy for the people that actually have done something wrong, or for people or that actually are in there that's innocent, and how do they make their life better once they get out when they was accused falsely, right? And you know that all also comes up with kind of like mind control. Like, how does the sheriff itself like help people? Like, because you're going as a candidate as far as for the sheriff to be able to have your voice heard, right? And also what matters. But when becoming a sheriff, you know, you almost have to wear multiple hats,
Right.
when you're actually dealing with the people in Chicago, wherever you're at, right? In regards to that, how does that actually work when it comes to training to become a sheriff?
So just to push back,
Yeah.
being a sheriff, you are wearing multiple hats.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you got to represent the people,
Right.
right? You got to listen to the people,
Yes, sir.
right? So you got to understand what the issues are by listening to them, and then you could find a solution to the issue. On top of that, now you got to hold down the jail, right? That's a whole different hat in itself,
Yeah.
right? Because now you got to try to maintain, how can I help the people that's detainees?
Yep.
How can I bring them back to society?
Yeah.
Well, not only that, now you have topics such as mental health awareness, right?
We talk about it like that on
That's
the
a
show.
huge,
Yep.
huge,
We talk
huge
about
issue.
that. Yes,
A
sir.
lot of detainees have mental health issues. So there's another different hat there. You got to put on another hat, and you got to think about, well, obviously, the individuals that are coming in with mental health issues, that's a whole ballgame. That's a whole
Right.
different section that you got to tackle, and you get doctors who are specialized in that.
Yeah.
And understand that those individuals can't be placed in a general population setting.
Right.
Unfortunately, they are,
Right.
but they shouldn't be.
Right.
So there's a lot of hats to wear in the sheriff's office, and it's not just evictions and kicking people out.
So you don't have to run when you see the sheriff. He's not coming for you. You cruise by. You know, the sheriff car cruises down the block. Everybody's looking out the window like, where's he stopping at?
Right. Even the dog's looking like this.
And so that's the issue that we have as a whole in society, right? You see a sheriff car or any police car for that matter, and you're like, oh man,
Right.
police is here. Hold up. Let me put my seatbelt on, or let me slow down. And it shouldn't even be that way at all, you know, and that's another key factor on me running with this candidacy. We need to implement programs and
Right.
into the educational system to teach people you don't have to be scared of the police. The police was created to help you. And like you said, you look at the old Western movies, and the sheriff is the guy. The town always go, hey, go to the sheriff.
Yes.
Go to the sheriff. He's
Yep.
your best friend.
Yep.
It was like that many, many years ago, and we fell off that grid, and we got to bring it back. The sheriff is supposed to be your best friend. The sheriff represents you.
My man.
You're not supposed to be scared of the sheriff.
Ya tú sabes.
Ya tú sabes, I am here with none other than my man, Kirk J. Ortiz.
Kirk Ortiz.
Tú sabes.
In the
What's up, Kirk?
building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Yes, we kind of talked a lot about, what the responsibilities are. But,
Different
also,
hats.
what our responsibility is to give shout outs to people that give shout outs on the show. All right.
That's
So
right.
we have Jay Rios 0127. He says,
Jay
go
Rios.
Kirk. Yeah, Jay Rio, or she says, I'm sorry. Yeah, he or she says, go Kirk. So, hola, Violeta. How are you, Violeta? And then we have Vic Mandom. All right, Kirk for Cook County Sheriff.
He got the hashtag going and
Got the
everything on
hashtag,
that.
Baba. Thank you, guys. Hey, don't forget to share this video, everybody. Let them already know that we have a candidate for the Cook County Sheriff on the show right now. All right. So let's get to the next question, Papa. So, you're running for office to become, a Cook County Sheriff. And for a lot of you that's just now actually showing up right now on either Latino time or whatever time you're on, right? My thing is that I didn't know the difference, at first on my end in regards to the Illinois State Trooper and also the sheriff. So this also, and this is why I'm so happy that Kirk is here with us today, because he actually defined that that's a totally different totally different departments, right? Totally different
Right.
like things, right? So one of
And
the
he
things
also
is that
defined exactly what his role was, because
yeah,
I had no idea either exactly what all the responsibilities that came along with the Cook County Sheriff.
yes, right.
And that's
So-
the norm, though. That's the norm.
Yeah.
But see, as a people like outside looking in, we don't know that.
Right.
We don't see, and you don't hear much about,
You don't hear a lot
Cook
about
County
sheriffs. You don't hear a lot about sheriffs because it's almost like as if you have this one unique car, and you don't hear about that one unique car until somebody says something about it, like, oh yeah, I remember that. Right, I remember that car. The sheriffs are the same way because you don't hear too much about them.
No.
Right? You either look at Judge Judy and you see, the sheriff, the bailiff or whatever that's there, and he's the sheriff, right? He's considered as
Is
a
that
court
the
sheriff.
same thing as a sheriff?
That's the court sheriff.
That's
Okay,
a court sheriff,
yeah.
right? So you hear about that and you see that, and of course they wear a different outfit and all that great stuff. But the thing is that we're so used to seeing the boys in blue, right?
Right.
We're used to seeing the regular police officers that control the streets or help control the streets. But then we didn't know in the back end what bigger responsibilities the sheriffs actually have. Like you were saying, hey, if you need 20 people, I got 20 people I can loan you, right?
Right.
And I didn't know that. And also,
or the liaison piece between the people
Yeah.
and law enforcement.
Yeah, I
like
was about to
that.
say
That
that as
is
well.
the big
Yeah.
missing piece.
Yeah.
I had
Huge
no
missing
idea
piece.
that was a part of that job responsibility.
the crazy thing about that is, Valerie, is that, and Mr. Kirk, the thing about that is that because we're so used to seeing, and our eyes are so used to seeing, because we're visual, we're going to see what we see all the time and automatically make that kind of assumption until we get educated, right?
Correct.
So, because voice matters, right?
Yes, it does. Absolutely.
And because you are going for, as a candidate for, and you will win this, right? You will win this.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
backing you up all the way, right? You are, a candidate for the Cook County Sheriff, right? John? Yes. So let's talk about that. Why did you decide to, you're running for office to become, but how did that all come into play?
Good question.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
We'll
sir.
go with it. We'll
Thank
go
you.
with it.
Good question. So I won't give you a full background. I'll tell you why I made a decision to run for Cook County Sheriff's Office.
That works.
So I was talking to an individual named Michael Hayes, who's also part of the campaign right now.
Nice.
And we were talking about the elections are coming up. The sheriff's office has been out of the loop for so long. We got to bring them back into the loop. But there's never been anybody who wanted to run and actually represent the people. People ran for office and they represented themselves. We need somebody that's going to represent the people.
Yeah.
And Michael said, Kirk, why don't you do it? He goes, you represent the people all the time.
Yes, sir.
I said, man.
Right? Yes, sir.
Never thought about it like that.
I never thought about that. I've always been one of the talkers, always talking. I said, but I'm known to create action when I talk. For example, there's a security business that I partner up with, and with that company, we blew it up. It's a great company. We employ a lot of off-duty police officers. We employ a lot of civilians. And even with that company, people said, oh, you weren't going to be successful. I said, no, we're going to be successful. And we became successful.
Yeah.
We became successful with the company, and we've impacted so many lives as well, because there's been so many police officers who got suspended. They needed employment. And I was like, hey, come work for me. You have rights just like anybody else. Whatever your case is not my concern. Mm-hmm. If it's something that's bad, obviously the courts are going to deal with it.
Right.
But in the meantime, you got to feed your family.
Yeah.
You got to put food on that table.
Uh-huh.
Come get a job. Come work.
I like the way you worded that too. I'm a big fan of the way he words things. So
I'm a people's purpose. I came from the hood.
Because you said that, but the way you described that, an officer who was suspended for whatever reason was the same way you were describing people who were in jail awaiting trials.
Correct.
Whatever the case is whatever the case is. Let's focus on your livelihood and get
Right.
you what you need. And that's a great position to have, and everything you've described as being a sheriff.
Right.
For the people.
And that's the way I view life in itself. Everybody should be treated equally and fairly. Not one person is better than the next person. We all bleed the same.
Yes, sir.
We all breathe the same air. We're all the same in general. And that's always been my mentality and my thought process growing up in life.
I love that.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And so Michael said, why don't you run for sheriff? And I said, you know what? I'm going to think about it. The very next day, my phone blew up with 30 different phone calls. He put it out there in social media. He put it out there into the world. And then my phone was getting blown up. And they're like, hey, you're running for Cook County Sheriff. You got my vote.
Nice.
And I was like, whoa, what's going on? So I called Michael, and I was like, hey, man, what's going on, bud? He's like, you said you were running, so I put it out there. I was like,
No
man,
turning
I guess
back.
you made the decision for me. There's no turning back. That's right. And so we started pushing with it. What really helped me confirm the decision I'm making, because I understood the sacrifices I'm going to have to take to run for this office. I understood everything that goes into play for running for position. I'm not a political person by any means. I've never been into politics. I grew up on the south side of the city, went to CPS, right?
Yes,
'Cause
sir.
I'm from the city.
Yes, sir.
Became a police officer and proceeded forward with my life with a business. I never steered into politics at all. You know, I'm a businessman. I'm a family man. I'm a union man. I'm in the union. You know, and that's always been my lifestyle. So going into a political position as such, I understood there's a lot of sacrifices into it. So one of the things that helped me confirm what I wanted to do was one of my buddies called me up and he said, hey, what are you doing? I said, I'm hanging out. What's up? He goes, meet me at a restaurant called Baba Yanni's. It's on the north side of the city by Lawrence and Western. And he goes, meet me up there. I got a special person I want to introduce you to. I said, all right, cool. So I went over there, went to the back room. That's where they were sitting and eating at. And no other than Secretary of State Jesse White himself was sitting down at that table.
Wow.
And I was like, woo, okay. What'd I do? Where's my driver
Right.
license? Hold up, am I good?
He's like, this just got real.
And I sat down with Mr. Secretary, and we had a great conversation about this position that I'm running for. And he said, you should go for it. And hearing that from such an influential person as
Yes.
Jesse White,
Yes, sir.
you know, he kept the Secretary of State office, he kept that office so real, so diverse, so equal. And I was like, I'm having this conversation, and I could just, you know, I'm just telling myself, wow, I'm sitting down here with the Secretary. He's giving me words of inspiration. I got to do this.
Wow.
Right.
I got to do what's right. You know, we stay on the model. It's time for a change. And at that point in time, I'm like, it is time for this change. You know, I'm going to go ahead and do what I have to do and give my all into running for this position, winning this position, and representing the people for Cook County.
Yes, sir.
And as I was sitting there and I said, change is great. But with that change, we need somebody that's going to make a difference.
Right.
Yeah.
Because everybody says, hey, it's time for a change. It's time for a change. Let's do this change. And then when you get that change of face.
Mm-hmm.
What happens?
Right.
It falls back down until the next election. That's not what this is about. I'm real. I'm 100%. I'm from the south side of the city. I represent the people. I understood what the people went through. And so, yeah, I want this change, but I want to make the difference.
Yeah.
The difference for Cook County, the difference for the sheriff's office, the difference for all. And that's why I'm here today. And that was my push right there. That was my push.
I want to put up, if we can put up the flyer for the vote for, Kirk Ortiz. And one of the things is that, this means a lot. Right, I have multiple photos. We can put your face on there in a few, but as far as you have one with your face on it as well too, that says "Voice Matters" as well. There it is. So your voice matters. Candidate, Kirk for Cook County Sheriff. It matters a lot, and the voice matters because this is what we've been doing during the pandemic, right?
Yes.
A lot of it has came out in regards to the pandemic, that voice matters in regards to cancel culture, racism, people that's just been going through a lot of stress, and people being locked down because of the pandemic, and trying to find out. Now we got this whole thing with with John Gruden, and the emails from the NFL that they found out 2011. That's actually just coming out.
Right.
When I talk about voice that matters, where you come from in regards to knowing what your voice matters, is probably things that we've seen through our lives to say, hey, in order for us to have a voice, it's something that is just not about, hey, our voice matters now, but also for the future. A lot of people cannot maintain that voice once they get into office. And the thing about it is, and I love Lori Lightfoot, I do, but there's a lot of good and there's a lot of bad, but there's also a lot of learning in regards to that. And I see that with Lori Lightfoot in regards to how she's learning this position. She's been in politics, but she's learning in regards to what's going on. And she got the bad of it all when the pandemic hit, and now the criminals coming out and all of that stuff. And, I see that, and I'm basically co-signing in regards to what you're saying, where the voice matters, but also maintaining that face.
Correct.
And I think that's, for me as a civilian, I feel that, maintaining a voice is easy, but maintaining a face is hard.
Well, it's difficult. Kirk mentioned that he's not a politics guy.
Correct.
But you're now stepping into a politics arena. Mm-hmm. So I can imagine, some of the challenges, because you can speak for the people because you've been the people. But now having to deal with the politics and other politicians, and I'm not putting on the spot to speak on anybody or specifically, because I'm not gonna do that. But I can imagine that. At what point have you had that point where you're like, wow, I don't know if, does that plant seeds of doubt? Because I feel like people get turned off with the politics side, and that starts to quiet their voice. You know what I mean? Can you see where that can happen to somebody? Where they're like, I want to speak for the people, but you know what? I don't want to deal with these politicians and the face value and the lip service, making promises and then not following through.
I'm sure that came up in conversations.
Yeah. So this is what I got to say about that. The sheriff's position shouldn't be a political position. That's what I got to say about that. The sheriff represents everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what gender you are. It doesn't matter what political party you are.
Right.
None of that matter. It doesn't matter if you're a criminal or a non-criminal. The sheriff's position is to represent everybody as a whole.
Yes.
And so me running for this position, I don't look at it as a political position. Mm-hmm. So I don't have those doubts of, I'm going to have challenges from the political parties. I don't have that doubt because my only concern is representing the people to the fullest.
Right.
And again, it doesn't matter where you're coming from. If you reside in Cook County, I'm going to represent you.
My man.
I love that.
I'm feeling pumped right now.
I love that.
I'm feeling pumped, right? But you already know, everybody, we're here with none other than my man Kirk Ortiz, the candidate of the Cook County Sheriff. You sorry. We kind of talked about, and everybody that's actually on the show right now, thank you guys so much. If you get a chance, please make sure you please share this interview, right? And also make sure you continue to throw some emojis up there too. Show us some love.
Emojis.
If you're loving the show and everything, show us your reaction. We would love to hear from you. Also ask questions as well too. So if you do have questions, please go ahead and ask questions as well, and we'll definitely answer them if you do have them based off of what we can answer. All right.
So we got 2 hashtags going now. We have Vote for Kirk, and we have Kirk for Cook County Sheriff.
All right. All right. Yeah.
Patty chimed in and said, she said, damn, left me juking halfway.
Wow.
She was like, never mind.
All right, sorry about that, Patty, but that's just the end of the song. All right. Okay, so, we're close to almost 1 o'clock. And today, everyone, just to let you guys know, we are ending the show at 1:15 today. So we have a few more minutes, but we definitely, when we're having fun, we got to keep the party going as well. But
That's right.
we have a few more questions. So one of the things is that running for candidacy, as far as, being out there and being with the people and for the people. And one of the things that, Valerie kind of touched on is getting into that mode of politics. The more I think about it, it's really hard to get away from something like that when you have such of a big role or you play a
Right.
big hat. There's politics in regards to anything. And I'm not talking about politics when it comes to Joe Biden, when it's talking about the Pritzker or whatever, right? I'm not talking that in. But it's politics in regards to people that's underneath you, that's working for you, but also people that's also against you as well too. There's always that competition piece where it's politics, right? Or people that have favoritism, right? In regards to that, going for candidacy, you have to think about stuff like that, right? What crosses your mind when you hear about competition, or you hear about just people, just when you think about competition, it can be haters, it can just be people just competing against you, right? Being a candidate for that and people wanting to vote for you, which you have my vote. How do you handle that? How do you handle competition?
Well, I'm a very, very positive person. I don't think about negative things a lot. Everything has competition in life, right? There's always going to be somebody that wants to compete against whatever it is, right?
Yes.
This candidacy, there's multiple candidates right now.
Yes.
I don't know the exact number, but I know there's a lot.
Sure.
The Cook County Sheriff's candidacy that has this 2022 candidacy has more candidates than all the prior years past that.
Wow.
I know the media didn't really state that as well, but there's multiple people that's running for this office.
Really?
And,
Wow. Yeah.
I don't think about, I got competitors. I don't think about any negative impact that they're going to provide towards me. Everybody has a chance to represent what they believe in, right?
Yes, sir.
Everybody has a voice. Everybody have a right to believe and do what they believe in. And so, I congratulate every single candidate out there who's running for this office, because that's your right. That's their voice, and that's what they believe. They believe they could do something, then by all means do it. And it's the same concept here. The people will understand, the people will know who they want, who they feel that's going to represent them. And so the only thing I have to say to that is vote in faith.
Yes, sir.
Vote in faith.
Yes, sir.
I love, because you hear in other areas of, candidacy and opposition, they'll try to mudsling each other and kick up dirt, and I know when I hear them start pointing out all these flaws in the other candidates, I'm like, talk to me about what you're going to do, not about what the other person's not doing.
Exactly.
Talk to me
Right.
about what you're going to do. And I'm hearing you already say that you don't focus on the other candidates, you congratulate them and move forward. I feel like that's so rare. I mean,
Right.
you're
what makes
saying
me
all the
real.
right things, Kirk. I don't know.
That's what makes me real.
Right. And I think that's important, because being real and also backing it up when you become that sheriff, right?
Transparency.
It's exactly
It's
transparency.
everything.
Right. And I think one of the things is that, when people, fill out the ballot and they vote for you, they're voting because they know you, right? But also they're voting for you because you have that vibe, right? That vibe of, number one, being a minority, right? And we're in the majority, right? Think about that, right? One of the things is that, I always tell people is that, yeah, there's a lot of us that's minorities, but then we're actually the majority because you walk into stores, you walk into places, and where do you see us?
We're the
right
majority,
there,
yeah. We're
right?
everywhere.
We're your service accounts that you don't know that we've been servicing you for plenty of years, right? And now when it's time for us to be able to get involved with politics / non-politics type situations, a lot of it comes to us doing the right thing for the world in general. Not only people, Kurt is going to actually see when you finally get in office, they're going to see you around, because connecting those dots to everyone, they're going to see what you're doing from state to state. There's always a connection everywhere. Right? And I think that's what I really love about it. Let's talk about a little bit about your childhood. Right?
Man, we got to go there?
Yeah, we got to go there. We got to talk about your childhood, because we know that you're running for, Cook County Sheriff, and, we have a lot of faith that you will do well. What was it like growing up as Kirk Ortiz?
Man, it was awesome. So I grew up on the south side of the city called Back of the Yards around 48th and National.
Okay.
Yeah,
We know where
Back
that's
in the
at.
yards.
Back in
yeah.
the
You're
yards.
talking about gang bang,
Yeah.
drug infested, the whole 9 yards. I fought every single day going to school. Yep. So, growing up in that type of environment, it's a poor environment. There's poverty's off the roof, right? And my household was a roach-infested, rat-infested household, right? My mom did her best to try to maintain, the house, cleaning it, buying multiple roach killers and rat killers, and didn't seem to affect them, and then trying to survive off of welfare, right? Trying to survive off of food stamps, because back in the day it wasn't linked, it was food stamps.
Yeah,
I had
exactly.
food stamps. I had actual Monopoly
Do you
money.
remember
Yeah, there you go. right. That's what it
They were
was.
like actual books.
They were booklets,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you tear them off, man.
And
And don't rip one, because
Yeah. Oh,
forget it.
forget it, void. And that was a struggle. You didn't have food. You barely had water. Water was cut off. We had to talk to our neighbor and was like, hey, do you mind if we hook a hose up and fill up gallons and buckets just so we could bathe, just so we could cook, clean, whatever, And our neighbor was great. He said, yeah, absolutely. And we hooked the hose up and we would fill it up every day, And that was a nice little struggle growing up in the hood. So I know what it's like to be in the hood.
yeah.
And then, I'm going to school. And going to school is, you got multiple gangs, because unlike the north side and the south side gangs, the structure of the area that they hold down or they represent in their terms, it's like every 2 blocks.
Right.
Yeah.
So every 2 blocks, I'm walking to school. Every
Getting
2 blocks is a
fights.
different gang. I gotta box every time.
Oh, man.
It's like, man, because they want to recruit me, and it's like, I'm good. My mom is all I need in my life.
That's
you
right.
know? And they're like, oh, come on, shorty, we got you. Nah, I'm straight.
Right.
I'm straight. And if you don't join them, then you got to fight them because they're trying to beat you up.
Right.
You
Either
know,
with them or
and
against
so the
them.
struggle was real. The struggle was real growing up in the hood, and that helps me understand life. I think that everything I experienced as a child in my childhood made me the man I am today. Because one, as you guys already know, I understand the people.
Right.
Because I've been there. I've been slammed by the police. Believe it or not, 15 years old, CPD snatching me, slamming me to the squad car, talking about where the drugs at. Man, I'm just trying to go home. I ain't got drugs.
Right.
Nah, where the drugs at? I understand everything that we're facing today.
That
Yes,
people
sir.
complain about.
That people complain about.
Yeah.
I understand the fear,
Right.
as we were talking earlier during break. I understand the fear that people have towards the police. It's embedded into us.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for the minorities, it's embedded into minorities. It's embedded into the Hispanics, into the blacks specifically.
Yep.
Right.
We're embedded. You just stated, man. You stated, man. I think it's in our DNA.
Well, and you know what? It's not something I'm proud of, but it's just a natural reaction that you've had for so many years, So I'm glad that you at least speak on it. That's what we need to hear.
Yeah.
For people to acknowledge it, that we're not crazy for feeling that way.
But here's a point about that though. Where was the sheriff at during that time? Right? The only people that we saw was just the police in that area. Or they were scared to come in that area and only came around when someone got shot or killed and they had to pick up the body and leave. And that's how certain areas was, right? Humboldt Park was like that.
right.
South side of Chicago was like that. Even some of the suburbs was actually like that
Right.
as well too.
But he's marking those moments in life where you can understand where people lost their faith.
Correct.
In the system.
And I marked it growing up in my childhood, and it didn't stop me from becoming the man I am today. It didn't stop me from joining a law enforcement department. You know, I've been in law enforcement for over a decade. It didn't stop me from doing that.
I mean, you probably got a lot of flack from people about joining the police
Oh
department.
man.
I mean, that's how the neighborhoods are. You know,
Well,
they're like,
you know
"What?"
the funny thing, when I go back to the old neighborhood, you know, they look at me and they're like, "Oh man, you're in law enforcement now?" I'm like, "Yeah, we thought you'd be dead or in jail." What?
Wow.
But you know, that was the mentality. You know, unfortunately, we had teachers in our high school talking about, "You're not going to amount to nothing.
Yeah.
Stop while you're at it. You're not going to amount. You're going to be a crackhead, or you're going to be selling drugs, or you're just going to be another banger. You're going to be in jail." And it's like, man, why would you tell me that as a teenager growing up? But I didn't let that stop me.
Right.
I kept pushing through.
Right.
I kept pushing through and made something out of myself, and here we are today.
Yes, sir.
You know, and we're here to make that difference. That's the key. We're here to make the difference. And in order to make that difference, you got to understand
Yes, sir.
what the people are facing.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, you had said earlier, I'm trying to figure out what you said exactly.
That's okay.
Verbatim.
But you said, you know, once political people get into office,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
They start off strong, and then they fall out, right?
Yeah.
And my opinion on that is because they don't understand what the people went through and what they're talking about
Yep.
when they're saying, "Hey, we're going to do this and we're going to do that." For example, we're going to stop violence. Okay. Everybody says that.
Right.
We've been saying that for years. That's the same basic old platform.
Right.
But where's the solution to stopping
The violence.
the violence? And if you're going to stop violence, have you grew up in poverty? Do you understand what violence is? That's what we should think about when we hear people say that. Do we understand what violence is? Did you personally went through that for you to understand what type of difference you can make? And I think that's a huge factor into why certain individuals, when they get into these positions, they fall off the grid, as you so say it, because they don't understand that.
Right.
And that's what makes me a different candidate than a lot of the candidates out there, is that I do understand that. I do understand what it's like to grow up in that type of environment. I do understand what it's like to grow up with fear of the police. We shouldn't have fear of the police. And I understand what it's going to take to make the difference that we all need.
All right, Kirk. So I have something for you before I ask you this last question. I have a shirt for you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know you've been waiting for this one.
I've been waiting. I'm like, come on, where's my shirt at? I'm Puerto Rican. Come on.
So I want to, real quick, this shirt means a lot to us to give to you. Because you're running for the Cook County Sheriff, we understand as far as how faithful you are as far as to the people, right? But also being a Latino, right? And also running, you understand what it means to be able to be that sheriff for the people as a minority as well too, but
Yes.
understanding the whole law enforcement, understanding how you were raised as a kid to understand what people really need, right? And this matters to us. So I present to you, my man. Welcome to the show. Yes, sir.
Man.
Yes, sir. Woo! Yes, yes. Look at that, everybody.
I love that.
Yes, yes, yes. And hopefully he wears that when he's campaigning, and let him know that the Rico No Suave show has your back, Papa. Yes, yes, yes. So we're into 4 minutes before we get out of here. So we do have, one more question in regards to, when is the election, right? When is that number one? And then also if you can just tell us in regards to how can people stay updated in regards to your events coming up.
So the election is going to be, the primary election is going to be June 28th of 2022.
Okay.
Okay, it's a very
Okay.
important election that determines what the people want as a sheriff to go into the general election, which is going to be in November of 2022.
Okay.
So, quick, simple facts here. You could Google online the Board of Elections. They'll provide you with everything you need as far as early voting and registration, and that's important. So, make sure you go out there, go online, Google early voting, get that done. You got to get that done. That's
Sure.
very important. So I'll give you a couple dates real quick right here. So you have,
And we can put up his website as well too. Let's pull up his website as well.
the first day to put in your application for a mail-in ballot It's going to be March 30th of 2022.
Yes.
So 330-2022, March 30th of 2022.
All right. Okay,
Yep,
so that's
yep.
when you can actually start voting.
You can put in your application,
application.
for your mail-in ballots,
Okay.
and then you could actually submit that in June 23rd. And then you could start early voting in May 19th of 2022.
Oh, nice.
So these are all important things for voting. Voting is very important because you, the people, you decide who you want in office. So it is important that you go out there and you vote.
Yes.
So please pay attention to that. Go out there and do what you got to do.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So you have a few things that we know about you, right? And there's more, right? Because we definitely want to have you back on the show as well too. We might even bring you back during that time as far as with the campaign and if you have time for us,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely,
So
yes.
we want to definitely know how it all goes as well. So everybody, don't forget to go to www.kirk4cookcountysheriff.org. Make sure you'll find all of that information, and also they'll be updating. I'm assuming you guys will be updating the website in regards to where you guys will be campaigning, where you guys can go and shake hands, kiss babies, and all of that great stuff.
Hey man, fist bump is COVID.
Fist pumps, COVID. Oh, okay. Fist bump the babies.
Right. Everybody's health is important. Make sure you guys follow me on Facebook.
Right, follow on
Social
Facebook.
media.
Yes, Kirk Ortiz.
I got a real important message that I want the viewers to listen to.
Yes, sir.
It's extremely important to me. It's extremely important to everybody. Your voice matters.
Yes.
And with that being said, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, inbox me, DM me, get your messages across. I want to know, I want to hear what you guys have to say.
Yes.
I want to know your concerns. I want to know your suggestions. Let me know what you want me to represent you as.
Yes.
Because your voice matters, period. And this is why I'm up here. This is why I'm running. I'm here to listen to your voice. And if you guys ain't communicating with me, how can I represent you?
That's
So
right.
make sure you get those messages in.
That's right. Yeah, just don't get those messages out there trying to, get your tickets voided out, and make sure
No dinner dates.
no dinner dates. Right. Don't be trying to go for free food, trying to figure out where he's at next. I just want a hoagie sandwich.
Right. Can I get some Uber Eats?
Right.
We're going to have some arroz.
Arroz con gandules y todo.
Chuleta.
Right. You probably don't want to talk about food, because that's probably y'all probably like, I hear you. I hear everything you're saying. Right? This is so good.
In between the tostones.
Right.
Con extra ajo.
Man, I want to thank you so much for being on the show today with us, man. It was a pleasure. I know we have to leave, but man, this has been such a great episode. Another monumental thing for us and our viewers as well too, and you viewers that's out there. Thank you guys so much. Once again, put your hands together for the candidate for the Cook County Sheriff, Kirk Ortiz. Yes, sir. Thank you, Papa. Thank you, Papa. Gracias, man. Thank you so much for being on the show. Yeah, I know.
Next time.
We'll have more segments.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. Yes, we're going to get out of here right now. We want to thank everybody for actually, being on the show with my man, Kirk. So we bring the camera to me. So one of the things is that we learned so much, man. We learned a lot in regards to today. The sheriff has a lot of responsibilities that we didn't even know about. And one of the things is that the sheriff is for the people. Now, I must say that law enforcement in general is to be able to protect and to be able to serve. But at the same time, too, you already know the sheriff is actually there for the people. But I want you guys to make sure you please go out there and make sure when you actually start in March to actually vote for my man, Kirk Ortiz. So if you have any issues or any problems, just let us know on the show. We'll make sure we connect you to him as well too. But I want to thank you guys so much. Next week we got my man and musician JC Delgado will actually be here, the Conguero. Next week the musician. But I want to thank you guys so much, and don't forget, everybody, we love you just like you love us. And we'll see you guys on the show next week as we end off the show just like this.